Welcome, Idol fans. I'm going to try something a little different real quick just to give you a real fast overview of what we're going to do. I'm going to try something a little different, which is I'm going to go ahead and make comments after each performance, during and after each performance. But what I'm going to try to do is speed things up tonight and allow you guys to just use the American Idol links, which I'm now including in the comments section underneath the video. So here's what I'm suggesting you do. That you actually open up like two windows so that you have one for this particular video, and then you open up another YouTube video window, and in that window please open up the playlist link, which will have the performances from tonight. Okay, so these won't be live until tomorrow morning, but they will be there, and that way you can reference exactly what we're talking about, because part of this, the reason I'm doing this is really to help help people learn and think about things. And it's not like my opinion is going to be that universally different from every other person, but I know that I do hear things and look at things much differently than most people because of what I've been through. So as a result, hopefully I've got a unique paradigm that's interesting for you guys, and that's why you're coming to listen to this in the first place. So again, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make comments in real time, because we're going to have performances and elimination in the same night. I can't really voice my opinion and then, go back. I mean, I can't watch the show and then go back and try to voice my opinion. So what I'm going to do is just voice it as we go. So, like I say, I'll make the comments after each performance. And if there's anything earth-shattering, I will capture it in the moment. And if not, I'll just wait till the thing's over and I'll just give you the overall comments, okay? All right. All right, contestant number 1. We have Amelia Eisenhower with Kelly Pickler doing a Sarah Nevins song, and I think Emily comes out. I think she does a really good job, and I think she does most of the harmony. Kelly takes the lead. Emily's fiddling sounds really good. I think she's a really good musician. The fact that she's so young, I'd like to see her stick around. I hope she does. The only thing I worry about is she's in that dreaded opener spot, and I'm just telling you, there's something that's a curse about the opening spot, and for some reason those people usually go. So let's see if the person that opened last night and now the person that opens tonight, let's see if those two stick around. Alrighty. So I would say all in all, the pocket was good, the feel was good. Again, with this new format that I'm trying to do, I'm not listening live real time. I'm listening, then I'm giving you the comments. This way you can go ahead and just listen to the reference video, and you can just kind of decide what you think and see if Emily should stay or not. Now, you already know. But at the same time, I don't. So I'm sitting here in real time, at least I'm an hour behind, but I'm not looking at the broadcast already. So let's just see if we've got Kory Wheeler coming up, who, again, he's in the number 2 spot, which isn't any more endearing, and then Lee Jean. So, those early spots aren't advantageous in this kind of show where you've got 12 performers, because they're going to be, unless they really do well, they're going to be forgettable. And that's just psychology. People can't remember this many people in one night. There's just too much going on. So let's see how they go. Okay, Kory and Haley just performed, Bending the Jets.
Let's find out what the judges thought about it.
And he really does that well, and I think it kind of helped ground you. I have nothing negative to say. It was really good.
Let me just say, all 3 judges seem to think that was a really good performance, and you know what? I'm not sure what Kory did there, because it sounded to me like it was a Haley feature and Kory was just kind of playing backup. So I don't think Kory really had any moments at all in that whole thing. So I'm glad the judges liked it, because maybe he'll stick around, because that just didn't do much for me. So I've already had Kory on my list of, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be around, but let's just see if he can stick around. All right, so next up we have Lejean, and I'm going to view it and get right back with you.
When you hear that, just run. Just get out of the room.
Okay, Chris Daughtry and Lejean. That sounds like an interesting pairing, because we have Chris Daughtry that's really good at digging deep, and one thing he can do, and that is he's got edge and he creates great vibrations in his sound. And it's something that you feel. I mean, there's a lot of intensity in what he does. I think it's a really good opportunity for Lejean to step up. Let's see if he can do it.
How you doing, man? Good to meet you, Chris.
All right. I will give Lejean credit on this one. Okay. Again, he obviously isn't in the same vocal range as Daughtry, so it isn't fair to compare, but I think he does a really good job of just singing in tune, and that's kind of what he did last night as well. That's why I think he was like the last person likely to be voted through, or maybe even ahead of Jenn Blosil, now that I think about it. I think he was probably number 5, and then Jenn might have been barely number 6, and 7, boy, it could have been any of the other ones, really. I think Emily should be 7. Shelbie, unless she steps it up. Let's see what happens with the rest of the people. But Lejean does do a better job than I expected. I think he definitely is doing better than Kory Wheeler. But I don't know if it's really upping the ante at all. Emily, I think, was really solid. They're both pretty good. I'll give them credit. I think Kory's the weakest of the 3 so far. Okay, next up, C.J. Johnson and David Cook. And it's good to see David Cook. Let me just say something again. I always am more than willing to give high praises to David Cook, just as a good guy, just as a good person. And I can just say that he really, really, really is just a very intelligent musician. And he's just a good person. He's always really, really treated myself as well as David really, really well. And, there were some tabloid issues that he was very willing to stick up and just say, you know what, just don't see any of that happening. So I got to tell you, I really think highly of Cook. And let me just say that his performance tonight with CJ, the rehearsal and everything, I really appreciated what Cook was trying to do. And, he was very unselfish. This wasn't about him. He made it about CJ. He gave CJ the big opening moment. And, that's a rare quality these days. So, I want to give Cook real credit, too, when he came in and started singing. First of all, CJ did a really good job. I honestly think that this was CJ's best performance. There was a huge difference, though, once Cook came in, and that is Cook has much better command of his range of dynamics and intensity. And it's real clear when he sings a song. He does a really good job with it. Now, what was interesting is I thought that they blended well. I mean, this was a really good duet. I felt emotion. I bought into it. Like I say, CJ's best performance. I think it kind of redeemed him. Now, what was interesting, though, is the judges. I thought they would appreciate it more, and Keith and J-Lo both didn't really feel the song. Now, I'm a little suspicious of this one. I'm not positive that's all Keith and J-Lo. I wonder if the producers might be throwing in some of that, because, boy, I'm not hearing that. So let's move on to our next contestant. Let's just say that I think CJ is getting set up to be booted. Hate to say it. And I think Cook really gave CJ a fantastic platform to show what he could do. And I think CJ stepped up relatively. I do still think he has some weaknesses. I don't think he can take it as deep as it needs to go. For example, Cook took it way deeper. Same time, CJ's a good musician. I just don't think he's good enough. So whether he goes now or he goes in a couple weeks, he's probably not going to be around very long.
So me and Jordan are singing No Air.
Okay, so we got Manny and Jordan next doing No Air. And before we go on with them, let me just say again, I think you might want to go back and watch that David Cook C.J. Johnson performance, because I think whenever the judges are looking at their notes, and if you look at the notes, I think those are producer cheat sheets. Just me saying, I could be wrong, but I've noticed that whenever it seems like the judges are looking down at things, then that's not them. I think that's the producers, because when they're listening, they know what's going on. And let me just say, Harry really liked things, and it was kind of suspicious just the way that Keith and Jenn both were looking at their notes, making these comments about CJ. I think it was a way better performance than they're giving him credit for. And for Keith to make weird comments about the melody, the song being weird, I mean, it's a beautiful melody. It's fantastic. And it's, it's a melody where you can make moments out of it. And I think they did a pretty good job of that, especially Cook. And I do think that CJ blended really well. So I'm going to give CJ way more credit than Keith Urban and J-Lo gave on that. Okay, now let's look at Jordan and Manny doing Nowhere. Now this is a song I know very well. I remember this song, and I remember the very first place that David went to record once he'd got his record deal. And once we started recording, we went to some place right there in LA, and guess where we went? We went to the exact same studio where they recorded Nowhere. It was the same people that wrote it. Harvey Mason the third, I think, is his name. And his dad's famous jazz drummer. So I've known his dad forever about him because he was on all these albums I used to listen to when I was growing up listening to jazz. And it's interesting that he wrote Nowhere and this other song. Now, what was interesting, just a little side story, when David went to record this song, they were trying to get David to sing it exactly like the demo singer. And David wasn't connecting at all with it, and neither was I. And I realized it's like, wait, why are they having David come in and just imitate a demo singer? I mean, if you want him to record this, you need to just let him hear the melody and then have him come in and let him do it his own way. I guess they're not used to kids his age knowing how to do that, or feeling competent, I guess. But it was strange, because in a way I kind of took it as an insult, like, oh, you don't know how to do your own phrasing, so we're going to walk you through step by step exactly how to do it. Well, I'm glad that we never even went back to that song. I didn't really like the song. It was a pretty bad song, to be honest. I was surprised the same people that didn't know where wrote that song. It didn't do anything for me. Okay, that's just between us. Let's move on now. Let's see how Jordan and Manny do with Nowhere.
Like, hey, I'll be Chris Brown, you be Jordan.
All right. Let me just say, I hope that you're taking the time to listen to these in between so that you can refresh your mind how they sound. Let me just say, Jordan is another person that's just a fantastic person as well as fantastic musician. And, the times that we've interacted with her, let me just say, she is a pro. She is so good. And consistency-wise, she's very, very consistent. So I like her instincts and musicianship. Now, I think Manny actually does a pretty commendable job here, very respectable. It doesn't blow me away. To me, again, he's like the support guy. He's still not coming across to me as being a superstar. The other thing is, I feel sorry for any guy that's not at least about 5'11" or 6 foot that has to perform with Jordan, because Jordan's just super tall. And then she's wearing heels. So, I think she's like, 5'10", 5'11" already? So you put heels on her, she's really super tall. So it just looks weird. I don't know if they really thought that through. I think they should have had Jordan change her heels, make her a little bit closer to Manny's size. But other than that, I thought it was an excellent performance. Jordan sounds spectacular. It makes you realize that that's the level of command and intensity and power, and the frequencies, the vibration she's getting in her. You think of like a Sonica, you think of even Olivia, you think of Tristan. Jordan was 16 when she was on the show, 16, 17. So she was young, a little bit older than Tristan, a little bit older than Emily and Lee Jean, but in that same age range. But Jordan had a much more mature sound, way more mature, way better control of her instrument. And that's what I think we're starting to see. When you see these duets, You know, you look at Daughtry, Cook, Haley Reinhardt I'm not going to really count because I didn't think that performance was really that spectacular. It was pretty average. She looked like a contestant on the show, not a pro, I'm sorry to say. But these other guys, every other performance has been. So, with that in mind, let's see how our next performance goes. All right, so Constantine. It's interesting. I'm not sure quite how they picked who would come back of all the people they could have chosen. Not that I'm biased of any who probably would really work well on these duets and isn't here. Someone I know might have been a pretty good choice, but hey, you know, I don't know what the show's thinking. So instead we get Constantine, who actually, he's a nice guy. You know, I got to interact with him a few times. He's a good guy, but he's kind of, his career has been hanging out doing stuff with Idol over the years. And I don't know if he's ever really, well, I guess he did do some Queen thing, or I don't know. Let's put it this way, he's a really good guy, really good performer. I just don't know if he's a superstar. I think he's just a good performer. He's not like world class. Now, with that being said, he's paired up with Jenn, and the song, that's why I want to do this. Before I hear the song, I want to make some comments, because this is a song that I know Harry knows really, really, really well. Because again, this is a song that every jazz musician knows and loves, and it's just one of those perfect songs. And as a trumpet player, Chet Baker and Miles Davis, I mean, come on, those are both of their versions were hits at the same time. Kind of like how do I live, when Leanne Rimes and Trisha Yearwood both had this same time the same song as a hit, which was kind of weird. But yes, Chet Baker and Miles Davis actually had a hit with My Funny Valentine. So, with that being said, let's listen to how they do their song. Valentine. Okay, I just watched Constantine and Jenn. And let me just say, for me, I'm going to make my comments before I hear the judges' comments. But I got to just tell you, this is exactly, to me, this is the definition of train wreck. Like, if I wanted to make a new song that I could make a template of and give you an example of what not to do with an arrangement, like, okay, first of all, let me just say that I have no idea what Constantine was thinking throughout this entire song, because he didn't understand at all. He wasn't thinking lyrics. He was just performing something independently of the song. That's how I kind of saw it. And the style he picked was so theatrical. I'm sorry, but Constantine, I really question your musical instincts. That was just unbearable. That was horrible, okay? I will say it. You can put this on the record. That was a mockery of what this song is about. And this isn't a song that, you know, I really don't like the arrangement. I'm not sure what he's thinking about injecting that change of mood. And the thing is, it was so horrible. I mean, Constantine, there was no soulfulness. He took a song that is a jazz classic. Like I say, this is a sacred song to jazz musicians. It's like, did you listen to the originals? Did you listen to Miles and Chet play this? No, you did not. Because you would never bastardize the song the way that you just did. I mean, I really feel offended as a musician that you did what you did to that song. And that Jenn had to suffer through that with you. Now, I will give Jenn some credit in one instance, and that is, I get who I think she reminds me of now, and it really is, I mean, I know she's already done some Cyndi Lauper, but today I got a better even feel for her. Now, she's not as good as Cyndi Lauper, but she's got that same kind of vibe and same kind of quirkiness and instinct. And even towards the end, when she was having to compete with Constantine's just over-the-top theatrics, I mean, it was screaming. It wasn't musical. There was no dynamics. There was no sensitivity. There was absolutely no connection to the lyric. And so for Jenn to have to figure out what to do, She did have one great moment. I'll give her credit, though. Towards the end, she threw out a nice little improv lick, reminiscent of, say, Cyndi Lauper on We Are the World, which is one of my all-time favorite musical moments in all of history, because it was so perfect emotionally and musically, and it was so organic. It was just beautiful. Okay, please refer to We Are the World and look up Cyndi Lauper when she comes in on her lick. It's just fantastic. But anyway, okay, moving right along. Let's see what the judges think, because that was such a train wreck. I hated the arrangement. I can't believe that Ricky Minor went along with that originally. I mean, that just, and again, don't get me going, but that's a whole nother topic. There were times when I realized that the house band, doesn't always have the same taste. Here's what it is, okay? It's really hard for any musician to always know what to do in any given circumstance. Meaning, jazz musicians, I think, are the most versatile musicians there are. But even them, there are just some styles that you're not going to quite know the best thing to do. And so you might make some bad decisions. Now, the sad thing is, I've seen the people that work to help these contestants make some bad decisions when they're helping these contestants, so to speak. And what it is, it's with their arrangements, the edits. And this is, again, why I have made such a big point in the past about learning how to edit your own minute-and-a-half songs is a skill that very few people even know they need, but it's something that you should learn how to do. And it's not as easy as it sounds, but I have a little formula of how you do it, and there's nobody that's probably thought about that more than I have and has more experience editing songs, because like I say, I've done hundreds of them now, and I've done them for other people. So what's fun is figuring out the best moments of a song and how to outline a song, and then kind of through process of elimination, you get rid of the sections that you can tell are redundant or that you can live without, until you end up with a minute and a half. But it's very difficult to figure out just how to do that and keep the song whole and making sense. So, this was an example of how not to edit a song. Okay, terrible. I don't like it. Jen, you did the best you could. What I will also say is, let's just hope the judges liked it, because you could be in trouble if they don't.
Tristan, so
okay, so we've got okay, let me mention one other thing I think is really important to point out. When I was looking over the packages of the contestants last night, I'm not very sure about the strategy behind what they're trying to do, because I thought they showed a lot of negative aspects of the personalities of some of these people. And I think it made a negative first impression before they started even singing. Okay, those of you that have watched that, let me know what you think. Okay? It was a little curious, because I felt that they were very unflattering. They picked a lot of real negative topics to talk about. Now, is that because this year's contestants they don't have anything more exciting to talk about than that? So it was a little disturbing, and I felt that it was something to bring up and point out, because it was pretty much across the board. I think the most interesting person might have been Trent, because he's a hat guy. Let's hear it for hat people. And Tristan, her backward alphabet. But other than that, boy, a lot of the people that were just kind of like angry or negative or not really that compelling or interesting. And, that's one of the challenges of this show, is you've got to come across humble and interesting, not arrogant and kind of like, some of these packages, these brief little intro packages before they start singing, are coming across, I think, in a negative light. So I'd like to know what you guys think. All right, now, let's go ahead and hear what happens. We've got Kelly Pickler, a song she co-wrote with Taylor Swift, and they're setting this up again. Tristan's getting a lot of emotional pre-mood creation. They're bringing these real sentimental stories, and that's a big advantage. I got to tell you, David had that advantage sometimes. There's certain contestants that they get that card played a lot, and I hate to tell you, but psychologically it does make a little bit of a difference. So let's see if Tristan's duet with Kelly Pickler. Now, last night in her solo performance, the whole song, we were seeing that it was too big for her. She had overshot. I don't know if I got this into it in my description last night, but she definitely chose a song that was over her sweet spot. And as such, it revealed a bunch of weaknesses that she's going to have to now avoid or really step up to be able to compensate for. Now, I want to see what she does with Kelly Pickler on this song. So let's see if she can step up, or if, again, we're going to just see more weakness. Okay. Now, let me just say that this is really interesting. Now, the person helping with the arrangement that you could see in the background was Matt Rohde, and he is the same piano guy that's pretty much, I think, he might have been through maybe the whole series. But great musician. He's a jazz guy, very good at arranging. He's one of the guys that we really enjoyed working with. And Michael, the other guy that you see a lot, he's really good too, but it's weird how different they are. They're both really good at certain things. And like Michael's kind of like the consummate accompanist, Broadway theater guy, but I always felt that his arranging skills weren't quite as insightful as Matt. And Matt's a jazz guy, which means just the way he thinks of chords. And I remember some of the arrangements he did, when he did Love Me Tender, that's one that especially was really nice, the way Matt came up with it and what we were going for. So, with that being said, I expected a better arrangement of this song, I'm sorry to say. I've listened to the song, I haven't listened to the judges' comments yet. Again, exactly what I told you we heard last night. And also, let me just say, after I gave you this big speech about packages, this was an absolute over-the-top produced package, giving Tristan way unfair, just, what should I say? The producers really like her. They want to see her go as far as possible. What I'm hearing, though, just listen to Jordan. If you go back and you listen to how Jordan sounded tonight, Jordan sounded that good when she was on the show. I mean, she really did. Jordan was really, really, really good. And what I'm hearing is Tristan's just a couple notches below that. She's just not really ready yet. And they keep picking songs that are way out of her league. They're picking too difficult of songs, and Tristan's weaknesses are showing abundantly. Yet the judges are still really giving her a lot of credit. Let's see how they do now. But I'm just telling you, I'm not as impressed. Tristan missed a lot of the notes. Kelly Pickler sounded stronger than Tristan, and Kelly didn't really sound fantastic, but there were moments that Kelly sounded like a pro and Tristan sounded like a girl that was just good but not even great yet, let alone world class. And those are the levels I kind of work people through. You got to be good for your area. Then you got to be good out of your area. But even after you're good out of your area, like you're a top 24 contestant, well, world class, you got to prove that after the fact. You can't prove that on the show. You got to prove it after. So, not a lot of world class, but there are some world class talent that's come out of this show. But not as many as the show's trying to take credit for. Certainly not some of the ones that are duets on this show. Hate to say. All right, let's listen to the judges' comment. I'll come back for my final ones. Okay, so the judges did agree. I'm glad that they're not over the top promoting her. It did seem they were shooting straight, starting with Harry, where it's, well, you did pretty good. And J-Lo pointed out that up against a seasoned pro like Kelly, you could really see what she was still lacking. And again, if you listen to Tristan again, her chorus was really pitchy. It was just not. It wasn't the. I don't know. I didn't realize they're trying to make her go country here. I didn't think that's her vibe. I like her being more singer-songwriter and more kind of like a Taylor Swift vibe. I think these songs are too big for her. I don't know what they're thinking here, but I think they're blowing her opportunity by. They're again. This is something that I do in my workshops is help people understand how to match up the right song to their skill set so they don't show all their weaknesses. This is exactly a strategic move that they've messed up. Okay, they picked the wrong song again for Tristan. And so now it's making her look unready. She's not prepared for this. This is over her head. You know, this week, they're still going to put her through, and, you know, they're really over-promoting her, you know, what J-Lo had to say. But again, you know, no, I do get that she is special and this and that, but we're seeing that the depth of her musicianship just isn't there yet. Jordan Sparks had way more depth. David Archuleta had more musical depth. And you're seeing as this progresses, as the competition continues, we're going to start to see more and more people just lose it. You know, their weaknesses are going to become too apparent. So I liked what the judges had to say. I agreed, except they're still overly promoting Tristan, and you know, they're picking the wrong songs. So they need to wise up and pick better songs that are more ballady, I think. Now, next observation, David Cook. And he comes out with Olivia, and let me just say, I really like Cook, and he's a great musician, and what's cool is Olivia really steps up, and, you know, there's a few rough areas, and again, her pocket's a little rusty, but as far as the sound and texture of her voice, it's really good. I mean, she has got just that spot that she finds in her mix. Again, you look at the quality of the vibrations. If there were a way to record her voice and measure it against other people, and you show what the texture of a voice can do, it just creates this depth, and just there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, very thick sound, and it's really cool to listen to. So I want to hear Olivia just get a few more mature elements into her skill set. And I think she's going to be absolutely outstanding. And she already is really good, and I see her being a favorite. And I think she may take over some of these other younger kids who just aren't going to be able to step up and compete with her as they get into these bigger songs. Because her voice can do stuff none of these other kids. You know, again, if we talk about that scale of 1 to 10 on your intensity knob, Olivia's got the 9s and maybe over 9s, you know, 9 5s. And a lot of these younger contestants, like Tristan, she's got a 7 or 8. That's all she's got. You know, I don't think she can get into that 9 range even. Because she can't maintain it. You know, she can't support it. She hits it, but it's just out of her range. And you listen to this last song and you'll see exactly what I mean. Olivia, on the other hand, just did a tremendous job, and Cook did a great job of just allowing Olivia to have the moments. So again, really well done on both of them. Cook sounds fantastic, by the way. Again, you listen to him, he's excellent, and the judges make really good comments. So I think Olivia's got a lot of potential. She's definitely going to make it through based on what I'm hearing tonight, no question. Didn't have any question after the first night, but after tonight, there's no question she's going through.
David said was really true, which is if you can find your groove and the right songs, you're gonna be around.
The judges are loving Olivia.
Agreed.
And for
you
good
seem
reason.
like somebody who knows music. You did a fantastic job just now. I was lucky to have you, and I'm just excited about this season. When I see a performance like that, this is going to be an absolutely incredible season. Great job.
Okay. And I think Olivia definitely has. She has got the coolest voice, I think, in the competition as far as female vocal sound. You know, Portia's got a great voice, but Olivia's got the coolest sound. Can she fill in some of those other elements, which is her pocket. And I remember watching her fill her song in the solo round, and I realized that, you know what, she's got the same problem. It's the same thing I run across with 9 out of 10 young female singers. And it's the way they are feeling the music. They're not feeling the subdividing, again, the little in-between beats. And as such, the song's not quite getting in deep enough, and that's why the pocket isn't quite there. It's a soulfulness thing. And a lot of rockers are bluesy, but there's a different element. I don't know what it is. There's times when there's a good pocket, and there's times when it's a lot. I also noticed that some of the phrasing elements, some of the articulation elements that Olivia is using, her sound is spot on, but sometimes the way she goes after a note, listen to how Cook does it, listen to how she does it. And I like his phrasing much better. There's a couple times when she kind of goes directly to the note. She doesn't quite attack it the correct way. I don't know how to... I don't want to get too nitpicky, but again, I realize she's still young too. But she still has a rich musical background. It'd be interesting to just kind of help fill in some of those missing gaps. She's really got great potential, and I think everyone really likes her. Let's expect her to go very far. Okay, I want to use this as an example of something, so I'm going to record this and hope I don't get in trouble from Fremantle. Okay, here we go. This is all about phrasing. Listen to how she's caressing the melody. She's adding little things. So she gave the phrase personality. Now listen to what Adam does. He's singing every note exactly the same. Would it be a sin? He's doing nothing to the notes. Override. That was it. But listen, help, falling, everything's straight. He needs to be mixing it up. He needs to be adding some personality elements. Now listen to what A. Haley does. He's keeping it way too straight. Adam Lasher does not understand the game of American Idol. Haley's doing a really good job, surprisingly, on this. Take my whole life. Okay, see that little improv moment? Where's Adam's? Listen to what he's doing. Every note is straight. It's like he's given up already. Where's the creativity? There's no creativity. I mean, think what Elvis does with this. It's like that was... He took moments that Elvis gave that were 7, 8s, and 9s, and he turned them into 5s. Because he did nothing with... Adam, you just blew it, dude. That was like the all-time example of how to mess up an arrangement. Okay? Haley did a great job, and again, her phrasing, her articulation, she was caressing the melody, she was really putting feeling into it. She was showing some sensitivity. Adam showed no feeling. It was the most generic singing. It was just, what was he thinking? I have no idea. He's old enough to have... He should have come up with a good strategy. This guy was clueless the whole competition. There's no question he's out. Okay, he's going to be gone. All right, that's my opinion. Let's hear what the judges say, and then I'll give my final thoughts. All right, so the judges, really interesting, I think. Harry, for some reason, thought that was sweet. I'm not sure what the heck he was listening to. J-Lo also kind of bought into it, but Keith is the one that, called it like it was, and I think heard what I heard, and that was there was just a big disparity between what Haley was doing and the way she was really phrasing, putting some personality and emotion and just, let's call it motion, some ebb and flow into the way she was caressing the melody. And Adam was just generic the whole thing. It was just lifeless. Keith used the word stiff. I agree. So, sad to say, but Adam Lasher is done. Carlos Santana's nephew or not. He has a problem I've seen a lot of contestants on these shows have, and that is they really haven't figured out a unique enough identity yet. They're still really good at sounding like a lot of different people, but they haven't really figured out who they uniquely are yet. And even Adam Lasher at 28, 29 years old, I think he's, I've called it an identity crisis. I think it's a common thing. A lot of people have it. Look at David Cook on the other hand. David Cook is very unique and individual, even though he does sound like a lot of other people. There are things he does that are really brilliant and put him into that elite level of musician. And he knows how to put intensity into what he's doing. Listen to him and Daughtry both. I think Cook's got a little bit more control than Daughtry, even though Daughtry, when he lets it go, it's just really cool, the sound he gets. But him and Cook both have, it's distinct sounds, but they both have a really cool, a wide vibration that really, emanates from them, and you can really feel it as a listener. All right. So from there, we transition into Dalton and Daughtry. And I think we have a very interesting package, and I think it's, cool that Dalton was a fan of Daughtry from before. But as soon as they start singing, there's no question that Dalton is lacking in the intensity area. And that's where Chris, that's one of his strengths, is the intensity that he can generate in his notes that he holds out. He gets a vibration going. There's a fluctuation that you really feel. Whereas Dalton, his vibration, that's not his thing at all. And here Dalton does a good job again performing, but you can see that his voice is not an R&B voice, and he really doesn't have that control yet where there's depth of sound yet. Like when he holds out a note, it's just kind of the note. There's very little vibrato. And again, he's made it work so far, but I think, again, when you hear a Daughtry next to him, he just couldn't hang. Daughtry's at a 9+. Dalton's in the 7.75 range. He doesn't even really get over an 8, I think. But his performance skills make it work for him. So I thought he did a really good job. Now, I want to see what the judges have to say. Okay, so the judges kind of geek out over Dalton a little bit more than I think they should. He did an okay job, but it's not like it was... I don't know how to say it. Let's put it this way. He's getting credit for his creativity and performance skills. His vocals definitely aren't in the same league as some of these people, but as long as he can keep it interesting and keep reinventing himself, or better put, showing different facets of who he is, because what's nice is he's showing who he is, and that is a very creative, inventive performer. And he is figuring out a way to rise to the occasion every time. So I will give the guy some extra credit, just as the judges are. Now, let's see what our next pairing is with Jordan and Trent, which, again, I'm interested in seeing how Trent does tonight. I think he did well enough the first night that he's going to go through. But again, is he really a contender? Can he tame his vibrato? Can he show a little bit more, I think, texture? His voice is a little bit grating when he really opens up. He needs a little bit more roundness. So I want to hear what he does.
And it wasn't until I was standing with Manny and standing with Trent, and I was
so
like,
what's
oh
amazing
my God,
here
it's been 10 years. Like, I have a lot to say.
Is Trent,
and I actually could relate it to them, and it was really cool to make a difference.
Okay, Jordan's a sweetheart. She can sing. They come out and they sing To Love Somebody. You've lost, and whatever it is, To Love Somebody. And Jordan brings up the same thing I've been saying all along, which is the vibrato. And guess what? Trent rises to the occasion. He keeps it under control. I mean, you got to listen to this. He does a really good job. He keeps his vibrato in check. I can't believe it. So to be able to pick up on that and make that adjustment, listen to his last performance and listen to this one. It's night and day. And what happens is now, instead of that being a distraction, it lets all the other things that he's doing right really shine through. So I think he does a fantastic job. I'm sure the judges are going to love it. And again, Jordan is just such a great person, performer, duet partner. I think it made Trent look really good. And that was a great song. Another thing, Trent is picking the right vehicles. Okay, smart contestants will do as many ballads as they can get away with because it cuts down on the production, gives you more space to work your own personality into the licks and phrases. And again, this was a good vehicle for that. And Trent's song the night before was also much better than most of the up-tempo tunes most of the other contestants chose. Okay.
In that
Let's
way.
move
So
on.
it was really full circle.
I'm always so proud of you.
Okay, so Shelbie Z and Constantine do Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't get it. How that's going to help Shelbie, to me, that may have been kind of like Jordan Sasser last week. I'd hate to think that this week we're going to just mirror last week, which is the first and last are gone. Okay? Which I think tonight that would be Amelia Eisenhower, who I like. I don't want her gone. And Shelbie, I don't know. I don't see how the country people are going to like this performance enough to... I don't know. This is very interesting. Let's just say it's not as cut and dry as I thought it'd be. Let's go ahead and finish the comments on Trent and Jordan first of all. The judges' comments were really favorable, and I was not surprised. And I think, if anything, they're kind of looking at Trent as moving right along and being someone that could be around for a while. So again, if he can keep that vibrato in check like he did tonight, it changes everything, in my opinion. Now, let's look at our last contestant again. Poor Shelbie. I don't know if this is going to be her final performance. I thought she'd make it to top 10. After seeing this, though, I'm thinking she might have fallen off of my bubble and into I think she might be gone. So let's see if we can predict real quick. Did anybody's fate change after tonight? Okay, if we look through Amelia Eisenhower, she's in trouble. Shelbie Z's in trouble. I thought CJ did a really good job. Adam Lasher's definitely in trouble. Kory Wheeler is definitely in trouble. Let's see. So really, boy, who's our fifth person? Lee Jeon is probably okay. We know Dalton and Olivia did great. They're in. We know Trent's in. We know Jen's performance was scary, and it was just too bad. It's who she was performing with. I'm sorry. Constantine really didn't belong on the duet stage tonight. I think he really messed things up for a couple contestants. Made it really difficult for him. So, Tristan did not perform that great, but she's going to go through anyway. So, CJ's a bubble. Emily's a bubble. Shelbie's a bubble. Let's see, who am I forgetting? Alright, so let's just see how the judges call it. I think I've done... this is one I'm not going to say cut and dry, but I'm real interested in seeing how we get 14 down to 10. So let's see what we find out.
Team's eyes melting. The lens turning. I love.
Okay, so the judges basically are writing off Shelbie. And, you know what? I'm afraid that exactly what happened last week happened again. The first and the last are both gone. And the 3 guys that went, I think CJ was a coin flip with Manny. Kory was never in. Adam was never in. Shelbie and, Emily, I think, is really the person that got kind of screwed over. I hate to say it, but Manny, I just don't think he's got a great attitude. But Emily is so much more interesting and has so much more depth of expression. I'm not sure why the judges picked Manny over Emily. I think that's a huge mistake. Okay, not even close. To me, artistry-wise, again, I don't know why they gave her that opening spot. I think they just forgot her. She was so far early in the show. I feel really bad about her. Like I say, Kory, no love lost. Shelbie just didn't step it up this week. And CJ, he's maxed out. We've seen all he's got in him. He's good, but he's just not fantastic, and I don't think he would have improved, so I think it's appropriate to see him go. All right, so I don't know if this is really that much shorter, but hey, here's my attempt at trying another format and just seeing how it works, and hopefully this won't, upset the powers that be running the shows. Again, hope to hear some questions, comments. Let me know what you think. Challenge me. Let me know if you don't agree. You guys are too easy to get along with on your comments. I want some. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear, and any suggestions I'm open to. Okay. Thanks a lot. See you soon.